Okay, Fordism versus Post-Fordism. Fordism is all about mass production and mass consumption. It was the third major phase in the industrialization of the Western world, and during this time, clear workflows were established which tethered workers to a long, steadily moving assembly line. This was also a time where high-volume mass production of goods were perfected. The primary goal of the assembly line was division of labor, and production speeds increased dramatically. The concept of mass production also made affordable products, and workers were paid higher living wages so that they can afford to purchase the products that they make. Fordism was named after Henry Ford, a Ford Motor Company founded in 1903. A job on the assembly line of an automotive company was served as an icon of factory work for decades. Henry Ford and his engineers introduced new innovations in factory layouts on a regular basis in order to streamline operations and minimize the time required for assembly for each car. Cutting the time it takes to produce a product was one of the key importances of the assembly line. Improvements in car designs, better engineering, and lower prices led to an increase in demand. Car companies like Ford responded to this demand by introducing mass production techniques to increase supply while saving as much time as possible. Aircraft companies went from building a handful of planes at a time to building them by the thousands on assembly lines. Manufacturer for manufacturer, factory for factory, worker for worker, America outproduced its enemies. By 1944, each American worker produced more than twice of his or her German counterpart and 4 times the output of a Japanese worker. The Ford Model T was the first affordable car, created in 1908. Ever since the creation of this immensely popular model, the company rapidly added new plans to expand capacity and implement new systems of workflow management. From this, and because of the nature of Fordism and mass production, Model Ts were made fast enough and were affordable enough for your average Joe to own one. When Ford engineers introduced the assembly line to Model T production in 1913, the amount of labor spent making a single car dropped from 12 hours to 2 hours. And about half a year later, Model Ts rolled off the assembly line at the rate of 1,000 per day. So there was an increase in demand for cars and increased consumption, which made people want to purchase cars more. Mass production and low prices were not enough to stimulate levels of consumption, which is what Ford lived by. The U.S. government then stepped in and established a minimum wage to increase spending and stimulate demand and assist in maintaining a stabilized economy. With the creation of the assembly line by Ford, mass production was a possibility with low and affordable prices. So with Post-Fordism was brought out by the limitations that were seen in mass production, which was perfectly captured by the Ford's famous Model T, which could only come in the color of black. This inability to create variations of design, also known as production inflexibility, was a key factor that led to consumer dissatisfaction and a drop in demand. Individuals began to desire choice and well-designed products, and was also in favor of flexibility and customization in production. Flexible production involves manufacturing products in batches rather than large quantities, and this was aided largely by computer-assisted design or computer-aided manufacturing. So rather than being viewed as a mass market to be served by mass production, consumers began to be viewed as different groups who pursued different goals and could be better served with small batches of specialized goods. Mass markets became less important while markets for luxury and customization became more significant. Production became less homogeneous and standardized and more diverse and differentiated as organizations and economies of scale were replaced with organizations and economies of scope. One example of modern computer specialization is Nike ID. If you do not like one of the color options Nike offers you, you are able to customize a pair of shoes on Nike.com. A customer is able to design their own shoe using a template and choosing the specific colors and materials. Although this does cost more and takes longer to make and ship, it allows consumers the option to get exactly what they want. So instead of producing generic goods, firms found it more profitable to produce diverse product lines targeted at different groups of consumers, appealing to their sense of taste and fashion. Instead of investing huge amounts of money on mass production of a single product, firms now needed to build intelligent systems of labor and machines that were flexible and could quickly respond to the whims of the market. Flexibility and variety in the skills and knowledge of core workers and the machines used for production allowed for the specialized production of goods. So the Toyota production system was an example of lean production. And this was a system that is steeped in the philosophy of the complete elimination of waste and imbues all aspects of production with this philosophy in pursuit of the most efficient production method. The main goal was to eliminate every form of waste and to ensure the activities performed added some sort of value to a product. This encourages workers to engage actively in problem solving, and employees are hired for their intellectual and physical capabilities. In 1944, Levi Strauss started custom fitting individuals' needs by getting 4 key measurements: waist, inseam, hip, and rise. A customer's measurements were inputted into a computer, and then a customer was recommended what type of jeans they should try on. After that, other alterations could be made to give them the perfect fit. The end. Thank you.